Welcome to Candid Talks about Sex for Saints, where we get candid about love, sex, wellness, and relationships. Just so you know, I am Tammy, a wife, mother, best-selling author, your favorite intimacy and relationship coach, the host of this fantabulous podcast where we're going to promote sex, but still keep it God. And I got a question for you. Have you ever wished that someone had taught you more about sex from a faith-filled perspective? Or have you ever had questions that no one could answer? Or wished if you knew then what you know now, you might have made decisions a little different. But let me tell you, this podcast is dedicated to just that. We're going to fill in the gaps. We're going to break some silence and help you to grow in godly intimacy without shame. And y'all, today's episode is going to be another Married Sex Monday. And I am excited because we are going to be talking about how to build and keep your man. Y'all, I am so excited because today on the stream, we have Miss Auntie Shakey.
Hey,
Miss Shakey, how you doing? How you doing?
I am amazing and really happy to be here. Thank you.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Y'all, she is exactly what her name is. She is known for shaking it up just so that you can get your money right. She is affectionately known as the Financial Matchmaker, who uses the resources that you have so that you can make the investments that you need and be matched with your perfect sir. I probably didn't get that 100% right, but y'all got it.
I love it.
Y'all got it. So, y'all, I'm excited to have today's conversation because Auntie Shakey she knows what it means to build. She knows what it means to lose, to start over. And she does it all with boldness, with clarity, with truth. And she does it so authentically. And I remember from the moment that I encountered her, you could tell that she really had a heart to see people win, y'all. She really, really desires to see people win. It shows up in how she communicates with them. And, she gives some hard truths, but that's okay because it all comes from a good place with good intentions. And so that's why I'm excited about it. I'm excited about this conversation. Okay, so in this first segment of what I do with my podcast it's called a moment of truth, right? This is where I just have a couple of questions and we're just going to get our opinion on it. Okay?
Okay.
So you ready? All right.
I'm ready.
Okay. So the first question I have, moment of truth or false, is a woman who makes more money than her husband will eventually resent him.
I'm going to say true. I'm going to say true.
You're going to say true? Really?
I'm going to say true.
Really? You think so?
I'm going to say true. Here's the reason why. With the age that we're in and how many resources we have out there for people to be able to make money, that what it would have needed to take for me to make the kind of money that I'm making and my spouse doesn't have that same level of hustle or won't have that same level of hustle will eventually annoy me. And also, I believe many other women, it would annoy them for sure.
Yeah. I think so. I think there's some truth and some false to it. I think that, there's going to be times where you're building, you're elevating. Sometimes you might not be on the same page financially, or you might not have the same hustle because I think sometimes it works with that mindset shift. They might not be in the same space as you, and it might take some time for them to get there. Sometimes they might need to see you go after it first before they get into it, or maybe not. I don't know, but I think it could go either or, which was going to be my next question. If he really truly loved you, he'd match your hustle.
I disagree. Now that I disagree. That I disagree. There's many reasons why a person they don't match your hustle. One is that they plain can't. They just don't have the ability to. It always surprises me how a woman, when she married her husband, all he did was have the capacity to earn $12 an hour at a factory job. And now all of a sudden, because you've evolved, now you want him to evolve all of a sudden to be this $100,000 man.
Yeah.
That's not who he was when you met him, though.
Yeah.
And so, but this is the reason why I do believe that there will be resentment there. Okay. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't love you.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have the capacity.
Yeah.
whether it
Yeah.
be mental, spiritual, belief, whatever.
Yeah. 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 I agree with that. I agree with that. Okay. So number three, sex dies when the grind begins.
Sex dies when the grind begins. Girl, no, that makes me even more. The grind makes me
Yeah.
no. Um, but I'm gonna tell you what stops the sex. Like, it's very difficult to get wet to a man that ain't got no money.
Yeah.
A man that
Yeah.
a man that don't have no money can't turn me on.
Oh, yes. Yes. I forgot to put my phone on do not disturb. But that's okay.
So
We're gonna keep rolling. Yes, yes, real talk, real talk. Because broke seasons be hard. Broke seasons be
there,
hard. Your mindset. I think when your mindset is on go, 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 sometimes it's hard to focus in on being intimate with your spouse anyway. Sometimes,
hmm,
maybe I don't
I,
know.
I, maybe for me, it's a release of, sometimes either it's a release of
Claire, like get your mind out.
power.
Okay.
It's a release of power. It's a release of stress. Like,
Uh,
I need to have that to release because for us as women specifically, for me as an entrepreneur, like, I spend so much time in this masculine space
yeah,
that I need a space, which is in the bedroom. I need a space where I can be feminine,
yeah,
where I
yeah.
can release that femininity and let someone else be able to take care of me.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that. So question number four is boss women don't need emotional support. They need results.
No. I need emotional support. I need
Yeah,
emotional
yeah.
support
I
and
agree. I
results.
agree.
And results.
I agree.
Mhm.
I agree. Because I think that when you come into the space, like you just said, you're in a masculine space, right? I think
Mhm.
it might be difficult for people to be like, oh, you need emotional support because you're always doing everything, like they feel like you're good. But now you need
Yeah.
that and the results too. So I agree with
Yep.
that.
Right.
I agree with that. And then the last one that I have is sometimes you have to lose people to when you build.
Unfortunately, that is the truth.
Yeah, yeah,
Unfortunately, that is the truth. And I'm going to say this, that there's a lot of women that aren't as successful as they desire to be,
yeah,
or they're smart enough to be, just because they know that that is the truth.
yeah,
For a long time, I thought about, my God, if I really take off in my business and I do all of the things that I dream about, would I really still be married? Like, I
um,
think about that all the time.
yeah,
Would I still want to be with him?
yeah,
That's a question that I believe that many women have to ask themselves, and it makes them very scared about who
yeah.
they need to become to be as successful as they desire to be.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, I love that little segment right there. Just so that we can talk about it, get to know where our head is going. But that
Mhm.
brings me to a point when I was talking about sometimes you have to lose people because over the weekend, I think it was Saturday night, I got a call from one of my good friends. We've been friends for years, right? And she called me. She was very upset. Like she was very upset. Her first thing when she called me, she was like, "What happened?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean what happened? She's like, what happened to you? I'm like, what do you mean what happened to me? She was like, well, why were you not there? I'm like, where was I supposed to be? Like, I had no clue where I was supposed to be. I'm just waiting for her to tell me, like, what's going on? And she was like, my birthday. You missed my birthday. I was like, wow. She's like, I had my birthday party today and I missed it on Friday. So Friday and Saturday, she had birthday functions and I missed them both. Right. And I know, like, I had no excuse for it because the truth is, like, I'm over here trying to build. And as I'm growing in the season, it's almost like people are getting left behind in the process, and it's not intentional. But it's more like as I pour into what it is that I'm doing, I get so laser focused that I really can't remember all of these various things to do. And so I want to know, like, real quick, like, have you ever wrestled with some situations like that where, you felt like as you're doing your thing and you're building, that you're in a space where you're losing people you never thought that you would lose?
Yeah, for sure. So I turned 50 this year. I know I don't look like it. Stop, stop, stop. No. Um, but
Goals.
I turned 50. I turned 50 this year, and the day I woke up of being 50, so my birthday was on a Wednesday. I think my birthday was on a Wednesday. And the weekend prior, I had no plans, no functions, like no girlfriends called me up and was like, "Girl, what we doing for your 50th?" It was like none of that. And then I woke up that Wednesday, that was my birthday. There was nobody that called to wish me happy birthday. There was no like, girl, what we doing? All of that. What's the turn up? What I realized though is that I worked my way into loneliness.
Yeah.
I worked my way into loneliness. And it's like, wait a minute. You didn't have time for anybody for the last 2 to 3 years. You had no time for anybody. And now you turn 50 and you think all of a sudden everybody's supposed to be here for you.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way. And
Yeah.
so I found myself lonely. Now there's always a ram in the bush, right? God isn't gonna leave you by yourself. But I had some girlfriends, um, some people that I networked with turned girlfriends that
Hmm.
showed up for me, and I thought it was beautiful. But um, and then I missed my very best girlfriend's 50th birthday because I was
Oh,
working.
wow.
I completely forgot. I didn't even call her until 3 days later.
Oh,
And
wow.
so and
Just like
so
me.
just like you, just
Yeah.
like you. Now she lives in another state, but she didn't have anything going on. But it was still one of those things like I think we need to be more intentional
Yeah.
about focusing on the things that matter. Because I'm
Hmm.
going to tell you that if we schedule in, time with friends and family and stuff like that, that it would probably end up making us more money than we
Yeah.
think it's going to take us losing money.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. And just a side note for your birthday, I did think about calling you. I was gonna call you and be like, "What are you doing? Are you planning on doing anything?" Because I wanted to, but I was like, "Nah, I wanna." I was like, "It's still new. I
Yeah.
don't know." I really did want to find out. I was like, "I want to hang with Shaky." I did.
You
I
should
did.
have, because I was by myself.
I did not know until you express that later. Do you think that it becomes a little bit more difficult to keep those friend groups when your mindset is constantly changing, though?
Um, I don't think so. I heard there's a podcast that I just watched with Myron Golden and Dr. Benjamin Hardy, and he was talking about that there's two different types of friends, and there's a set of friends that they're your friends that they get to remind you where you came from.
Yeah,
They're your deal friends. I think that's what they called it, but they're the ones that you don't expect anything from them. They don't
yeah,
want anything from you. And so I believe that those relationships I will forever fight for.
yeah,
But the ones that are my friends right now that I put on the back burner and don't talk to that often, I really need to call them up and honestly ask for their forgiveness, because
yeah,
they never wanted anything from me and I don't want anything from them. And
yeah,
so, but all the other people that I end up finding myself networking with and stuff like that, it's all about, you know, who can I refer to you and you refer to me, and you know what I'm saying? And maybe we can
yeah,
collaborate and do all this stuff. They want something from you.
yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. That's very true. So it's just a matter of reframing the mindset to be able to, accommodate them in their season, because, you chose this path when you guys were in the same space, and then now you starting to elevate. Doesn't mean you need to let one go. It just means now you need to just reframe your mindset
Yeah,
to be able to, allow them to keep up. Yeah, so
absolutely.
that's true.
And I want them to all of my girlfriends, well, most of my girlfriends, they're all 9 to 5ers. Like they
Yeah,
all work 9 to 5 jobs, and
yeah,
they can't, you know, they can't, I shouldn't say can't, but we don't relate in the same way, nor
hmm,
do we need to.
yeah,
We're all in our 50s now, and we all got grown kids. We can relate on so many other things than
yeah.
just business.
Yeah, yeah. Very true, very true. But I want to, kind of get into, that relationship space because I want to go back a little bit more because I know there's this one statement that you love to say in MMU, which is, you didn't marry for love, you married for money, right? Where did that mindset come from? What shaped that?
Um, what shaped that is that I knew that I always wanted money,
Yeah,
and I didn't want to be the one to bring the money to the table.
yeah.
How ridiculous is that? Wait a minute. Like that really cracked me up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um, and so if I knew that, I always knew that I would be wealthy, and I didn't want to be the one to bring the wealth to the table. I don't mind having being wealthy, you know what I'm saying, and having some money at the table, but certainly I don't want to fund a grown man's lifestyle. That
yeah,
that wasn't that's not what I envisioned for myself. And so that being the case, I had to marry someone that I knew had the ability to be able to take care of me.
yeah,
And so a lot of times you don't find that person through falling in love with them. I had to be extremely strategic. I
yeah,
had to look and say, okay, what do I want out of life? And I think that that's the part that we all miss. As business owners, sometimes we sit down and we do what's called a business plan. Okay,
hmm,
we write out the future of the business. How much income we want to bring in and stuff like that. However, we never sit down and create a life plan. What do
yeah,
we want for our life?
yeah,
Oftentimes we end up marrying, getting together with people that happen to enter into our lives during a time where we're either depressed, we just lost someone,
dealing with some type of trauma.
or some sort of trauma.
Yeah.
Exactly. When this person scoops in and they feel a void.
Mhm.
But that's only because we didn't sit down and do a life plan. That's the
Yeah.
only reason why. Now, if we did a life plan, excuse me, if we did a life plan and we wrote everything down, even if a trauma were to happen, I have something to reference back to. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
this person is really feeling a void. However, is this really congruent with what I want in life? And
Yeah.
in most times, what would happen is, no, that's not the case. So I ended up, this man, uh, I knew him from work, and I always called him Baby Bill Gates because he is a genius when it comes
Mhm.
to the technical space. A genius, okay, literally a genius. And I call him Baby Bill Gates. And so I called him up one day and I said, you know what? What do you think about getting married? Now, mind you, I'd never dated this man, went on a date, never kissed him, never anything.
Oh wow.
Okay. Called him up on the phone. What do you think about getting married? He said, uh, sure. I said, okay, cool. 6 months later, we were married. 6 months
Wow.
later, we were married. Again, we had never kissed, we had never done any of that. And he knew that me walking down that aisle, I walked down an aisle about to marry a man that I didn't love. And he knew that I didn't love him.
Yeah.
He knew that. But he also was convinced that he was going to teach me how to love,
Yeah.
and that he was going to make me fall in love with him, and he did just that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's so interesting because, not only does it change the way that you date and interact, but it also gave you something to measure, right? So that you can make sure that as you are dating, you can make sure that your head is intact, or your head and your heart is in alignment in the same place, so that you're not, falling off a cliff because, We do crazy things when we are in love, right? And so you kind of like dodge that bullet when you are more strategic in that way. I think it
Mhm.
is interesting though, like the way that y'all got married. How long have y'all been married today?
21 years.
You see, so it worked for you, and it just
Mhm.
reminds me of like back then in the Bible days, like they would just get matched with somebody, you know what I
Yep.
mean? And then they
But
would grow to love that person.
so here's the thing. Falling in love or getting married for love, that is a Western
Yeah,
philosophy. That is a very new way of actually getting married. That is not something that traditionally people got married for. And I
yeah,
believe that that's the reason why marriage is 50%. I mean, divorce is 50% in this country, is because we are making decisions based off of an emotion
yeah,
versus getting married based off of what makes sense. Now, it made sense. I say this all the time. Marriage is the biggest investment you're ever going to make in your life. The biggest. Now,
yeah,
I'm an investor. Okay. Now, I have never looked at a piece of property and said, oh my God, look at this building. Look how beautiful it is. Oh my God, this building makes me laugh. Oh my God, I love the way this building makes me feel. Nobody buys an investment that way.
yeah,
Likewise, why would you do that in marriage? What you do is you look at what's the return on investment.
yeah,
What's my cost? What's my cost over? What's my repair cost?
yeah,
How much repair cost do I have to do here? Is this a damaged individual? How much effort do I need to put into this person to make it to get them whole?
yeah,
Is that an
yeah.
investment I'm willing to make into this person? And so that's why I always say though that I'm also a gold digger. I was digging for gold when I found my husband, and a lot of people out here they digging for sand
Yeah,
or clay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's you were strategic, and a lot of women are not going to be that strategic, and so they're going to end up with what they have. And then when you're thinking about men with wealth, like it's a very small percentage. So it takes a lot of work and effort to be able to get that. At least that's what some women may say. They might say that.
They might, they
Yeah,
could,
yeah,
they could.
yeah,
But I
because
think that
not
that's
everybody
I
gonna be
think that that's
fortunate. Uh-huh.
I think that that's relative. I think that a lot of women um, don't have it because they're not willing to work for it and they're
Yeah,
willing to settle for less. And here's the other thing too, that that they don't challenge the men either. So for
yeah,
example, the whole idea of 50-50, I think the thought is ridiculous. Here's the
yeah.
reason why. I know there's going to be some people that eat me up in the comments for this, but that's okay. It won't be the first and it won't be the last. There used to be a time where a man took pride in taking care of his woman,
Yeah,
okay? Taking care of all of the bills and all of this other type of stuff, right? Okay. Well, it forced him to hustle. Men would take up multiple jobs, okay, to be able to provide for his family. Or he would be a coward and just leave.
yeah,
There's those two, okay? But then here comes the revolution of the woman. You know what, honey? You don't have to leave and you don't have to work that second job no more. Because I'm going to bring half to the table. Because I'm going to help you out. Well, what if helping you out actually meant not bailing you out?
yeah,
What if helping you out said, hey, listen, I'm here for whatever you need. I'm here to support you. I'm here to make sure that if you come home at night, you got a hot meal in front of you. You got a clean house. Your kids are bathed. Your kids are taken care of. But honey,
yeah,
go out there and make the money.
yeah, yeah,
But we come in and we become bail bondsmen. We start bailing our men out.
yeah,
We won't let them make a bad decision. We won't let them, now we're even their thinkers. We're their thinkers.
Yeah.
Our husbands say, "Hey, I think I want to do this," and then us as the wife, we come through and we say, "No, I don't think you should do this because da da da." Because listen, ultimately, we are smarter than them.
Yeah, for sure.
We're smarter than them,
Yeah.
but we're always trying to show out how smart we are. But we got to let them bump their head. They get smarter the more that they bump their head. But we
Yeah.
come in and we come in as know-it-alls and we tear it all apart. And
Yeah.
then we find ourselves having to contribute 50% because he can't grow past being a big hustler.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I don't understand that concept 50-50. My husband, he takes care of the majority of our households, and we have two different households because we're in a unique situation. And so where we clash is I am building, and so I be trying to make sure that I can have the things that I need to build, and so that's why I use some of my funds so that I can build. And that's where we kind of clash. But I definitely understand that concept because there's a level of pride that comes with when they have the ability to take care of the things
Yep.
of the house. And I don't ever want to be the person that takes that pride away, because that's when things start shifting in a relationship in their mindset, and then they start getting a certain type of way. And then, women today, I, I don't like to say this term, but I like to say it like that whole I understand femininity, right? But I'd be like, you could have femininity. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna cook for my man. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna make sure that he got what he needs so that he can go out there and make this money because I'm trying to build. We're trying to build some things so that we could have more money into the household. So I absolutely love that concept. When it comes to that. But not everybody is able to marry well, because there's a lot of marry for love and a lot of people, especially today, are not being taught. I don't know how this generation is going to make it. Because they don't have the same financial concepts at all. And I don't know how many times you gotta drill it in them. I have a 20-year-old and I'm trying to.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh
I have
wow.
my oldest daughter. I have 20, and then I have a 5 and 6-year-old. But I'm trying to
Wow.
drill in my oldest daughter. You got to take care of these finances. You got to make sure that these finances are together. Start early so that you don't have to struggle the way that I did because my life was not, like I had to struggle my way, and I'm still working out
Mhm.
that right. Which is what I want to ask. Like, have you always been wealthy, or like what was your childhood like? Like, were you ever having like financial struggles? Like, how was that for you?
Okay, so as a child, I actually grew up in a middle class family. Like we never struggled. Um, um, my parents still are married to this day. They've been married for 52 years.
Ooh.
And my husband's parents have also been married for 52 years. Like that is extremely rare um, for that to happen. So I married good stock. I didn't just marry I was very, very particular. Like he needed to be able to have money, have the ability to always have money with his
Mhm.
mind, and also he needed to come from good stock, meaning his parents were still married. But wait, what was your question? I got thrown off.
I was asking, how did you grow up financially, which you
Oh
answered.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Now, however, once I got married and we got even, wealthier, we were doing very, very well for ourselves. And then the stock market crashed in
Yeah.
2008. And in
Yeah.
2008, we lost everything. And Tammy, when I say we ain't had nothing, we ain't had
Wow.
nothing. I had gotten to the point where I was digging through trash cans just so I could look
Yeah.
for newspaper clippings so I could buy a can of tuna for a nickel. So
Wow.
we got to that point where we were broke. And um because of that, remember I got married to my husband so that he
Yeah.
could take care of me.
Right.
Okay. And so now it's like, bruh, what we what what we doing?
What we doing?
What we doing? Okay. And so we had to live in an apartment. And Tammy, I know this gonna sound really bad, but I had never lived in an apartment a day in my life.
Yeah.
And it was like we're moving into an apartment. We had to sell the TVs off the wall.
Wow.
We're in an apartment, no TV, no nothing.
Yeah.
Just so we could survive. I started working a job as a customer service agent, and I literally was abusing my husband every single day,
Wow.
every single day. Um, I abused him every single day,
Wow.
and I really took for granted what it was that I had, because I always looked at him as the provider. And
Mm-hmm.
look, you got to get it together. You got to man up. You got to man up. What we doing? What we doing?
Yeah.
And during that time, it was a very hard time because I did not know how to handle not having money, because I've always had money.
Wow.
And I've always been cared for by my father, by a man of some point. And
Yeah.
so finding myself in that place, I didn't know how to handle it. I was a spoiled brat. And during that time, my husband was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do this. We're either gonna have to go to counseling, or we gonna have to part ways, because I
Yeah.
can't keep being mistreated in this way. And
Yeah.
so anyway, that part is a interesting story.
That's powerful
But
though.
to answer your question, yes.
That's powerful though, because you both had to learn how to be taught to manage each other in a space that none of you had ever been before, and once you got there, all of the realities of who you were came out that showed you, this is what I need to deal with. I need to
Yep.
deal with these things because, like he said, that did something to his mindset. I'm being abused by my wife. And now I'm struggling with my mindset because he probably didn't even know how to get you out of that space.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's hard. That's hard. But that just proves that, the love came. The love came and
You
y'all were
did.
able to get through that, because at what point did you decide, okay, we got to make a difference? Like, who made that ultimate decision? We're going to get out of this. And what was that process like, getting out of that financial state?
Getting out of the financial state, it was just a matter of him really just getting a job, because he's very much so employable. Like I said, he's a genius. But I don't think it was about the money for us that we needed to get out of. We needed to get out of that. I needed to get out of that mindset
Yeah.
that he was just there as my provider. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I needed to get out that mindset. And so how what got us out of that was really the Holy Spirit. And I know that there's some people that don't believe in God and stuff like that, but one thing, there's several things that happen in our life that he proves that he's real.
Mm-hmm.
And and this situation where my husband said that he wanted to get a divorce, and said, he didn't use the word divorce. He was like, hey, I want to go to counseling. Let's go to counseling, but something has to change.
Right.
That's what he said. So we go to counseling at our church, and the it was a husband and a wife counselor, and they said, okay, we want you to write down what's your issue with each partner. My husband wrote down stuff on the front and back of the page, okay? That he had issues with me. My only issue with him was, I was like, I just wish he made more money. That was my only issue.
Mm-hmm.
So because I was the woman, they started with me first. They spent 50 minutes talking to him about how he needed to make more money. Now, mind you, at the time he was already earning over $100,000. Okay. This
Mm-hmm.
is me being spoiled though. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I watched them dog him out for a whole 50 minutes. My
Wow.
husband, he left there. Now, mind you, the only thing they said to me is, now, just because he's not manning up and providing doesn't mean you get to talk to him like he's a child. I
Yeah.
said, noted. And we walked out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're walking to the car, and my husband's head is hung low, defeated, because this was his last opportunity to save his family, to save himself, really. And so, um, at the car, I lifted up his head and had him look at me, and I said to him, I will never, ever, talk to you that way again. I appreciate you. I love you. And that right there was the changing moment. I got to see how I was treating him through the eyes of those pastors. And so that's what changed for us.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. And I think that that just speaks to the character of a person that you are to be able to make those immediate changes. Because
Mm,
some people would have lived in that pride and they just would have stayed there and y'all might have had to eventually split. But I think allowing you to be able to see that, like, change just like that just shows like how much love you have for your marriage, how much
mm,
love you have for your spouse, and not
mhm.
wanting to separate. So I think that's so good, and I think that's commendable for you. So when y'all did that, at what point did you say, I need to get on my grind and build something for me?
So so I've always been that way. My husband actually, um, he said when we got married, he said, I never want you to work. I'm gonna always take care of us. I don't want you to work. And so I told my girlfriends, and they were like, "Girl, you got you a good one." And I was like, "Yeah, but he don't know me, cause your girl got the work." Okay.
Yeah.
I've always been a business owner. I've always been about my money, always, which has challenged us immensely. It really has. It's challenged us immensely. Um, I know that we went through a time where I believe we were jealous of each other,
Mm.
and we were competitors of each other. And
Oh, wow.
so I know just as of as of late, he's asked the question like, what number am I in your life? Because I know I'm not
Ooh.
number one.
Ah.
I know I'm not number one.
Yeah.
And I had to admit to him, you're not. You're
Yeah.
not. And I
That's
hate that.
hard. Yeah, and I fully understand that concept because when you are in a space where you're trying to build, like, there are things that get left on the table, and it's not on purpose. It's just
Yeah.
because you're trying to build. So sometimes that meal that you're supposed to make is gonna get neglected, and it's not on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, how does he manage that though, when knowing that he's not where he would like to be in your life?
Um, I don't know. I can't answer that for him. I can't answer
Yeah.
that for him. But what I can say is that it's my responsibility to put up some boundaries, that if I really think that it's important for him to feel like he's number one, then I need to make sure that I put some boundaries in where he feels like he's number one.
Right.
And I haven't figured that out yet. Like, I'm not a cooker. I never have been. I'm a looker, not a cooker. But like, like he's always had to cook his own meal. I'll throw
Yeah.
something together, but it got to be 20 minutes or less. I got to make it
Yeah.
in 20 minutes or less. Because if it can't be, like, I'll make a piece of meat, but it won't have a side, or it'll be a side and not a piece of meat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it got to be quick and in
Yeah.
between calls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how he feels about that, I don't know. But I'm gonna tell you, sometimes it eats me up inside that
Yeah.
he feels that way, and that it's the truth,
Yeah.
and that I haven't yet made the decision to make him number one. That
Yeah.
eats me up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. And
I'm on
I
your
agree.
podcast to be honest. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I could Some people might get on here and give you a bunch of fluff and
Yeah.
tell you what you want to hear or what they think the audience will want to hear. I'm just gonna tell
Yeah,
you the truth.
and I love it. I love it because these are very real conversations that people are not talking about. Because even when I think about just the other day, my spouse told me that I'm not making enough time, and so I'm like, what do you like? What would you need of me to like give you more time? Like, what would you feel like I need to do to give you that?
Yeah.
Because I am so focused on trying to build. We don't have those financial luxuries yet, And my mindset is like, until we get to that place, it's like I have to keep going, because if I stop, we'll never get there, And so sometimes that means that, that conversation might not be. He was calling me on this live. Like, he had to keep calling because my phone was on do not disturb. And I had to reject the call because I'm on a podcast, you know? And he has a system, like, he's very consistent with calling me around the same time every single day. So he's going to feel again like I'm being put on the back burner again. I'm going to be put on the back burner again. And so what I try to do is be more intentional, with trying to prioritize and try to make time. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I block out this time just to speak to him so I can make sure that he feels good before I hang up this phone, So it's unfortunate, but I feel like, you do the best that you can, because, they are the head, right? And we are supposed to prioritize our spouses. But in the process, it's just a matter of how do you manage that time? Because you are trying to do something that's going to be beneficial to the whole household at the end of the day.
There's something that you said, and we just have to be careful. We just have to be careful about our thoughts in this way. You said, hey, I got to keep doing this, because if I don't do this, we won't get there.
Yeah.
And that's just a slap in the face to them, because it's almost as though they're not enough. Like, I desire to give you all these things. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
And so to think that I'm not going to get those things if I don't go get it for myself means that he's inadequate.
Yeah.
And so we just, us as women, we just want to be careful with that, and thinking and saying that. And so for him, he knows that I don't do this for our lifestyle. If I stop doing this today, we'll still be good. You know what I'm saying? My money goes to me in my own account, and it's being built up for us later in life. He's gonna get quite a surprise once he decides to stop working. He's gonna be like, oh, we can do this. Like this. So that's kind of, that's what I wanted to say about that.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that. You said something earlier. You said that y'all were competing at one point. Was it because of financially, or was it the time, or what was the competition?
The competition was relevance.
Yeah.
Was relevant. So what I mean by relevance is he's a big shot in his industry. He's a big shot in his industry. And shoot, at the time when I was working as a customer service agent, during those times I was, we didn't have no money. I'm super jealous of him, because there was a time where I was a big shot. And so now, I'm doing things that not intentionally, but subconsciously sabotaging, because you're now the big shot. And same thing that happened to me when I started being the big shot, because I used to be in a network marketing company, and I was a big deal in that company. I was making a lot of money in that company, and he sabotaged me, and he shut my business down. He completely shut my business down because of the jealousy. And so that was something that we had to come in terms with, and identify that we're competing with each other.
Yeah.
And that's wild, because I don't want him in my business, nor do I want to be in his. I think that's another thing too, is that a lot of women think that their men have to be in their business. That man ain't got to have nothing to do with this business. It's my business. It's my business. Now, how you support is that you make sure that the lights are on. Because if the lights ain't on, I can't be on the Zoom right now. Make sure this air is still running. Because if the air ain't running, I'm gonna be hot.
Yeah.
That's support.
Yeah.
That's support. You ain't got to be out here slinging insurance policies and, you know what I'm saying? All of this is my business.
Yeah. So it didn't bother you during that time that he wasn't supporting you in the way that you would like, or did you even require any type of support from him when you were building?
I did. I did. The support that the support. So this is a new paradigm. But back then, when I
Mm-hmm.
wanted his support, the support was more like, you have such a good network. Put me on in front of your people. Tell your
Yeah.
people what I do. Have them sit in front of me. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Refer them to me. And
Yeah.
he wouldn't do any of that. And then I had to think about it. And I'm like, do I really think, did I get into this business saying, you know what? He got a whole lot of contacts. Let me go ahead and do this business so I can get in front of his contacts. No, I got into this business because I knew I could be successful
Yeah.
with or without him. And
Yeah.
so sometimes we get caught up in thinking that if our spouse doesn't support us in the way we think that they should support us, that we won't be successful. And that's just not
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they'll stop doing it, right?
Or
Like
they'll
I've
stop
had,
doing it.
yeah, they'll stop doing it because they're not getting that type of support. They're like, oh, my spouse is not supporting me. But it's not their job to support you, right?
Mhm.
I think that's just you wanting, that's just something that you desire. But if
Yep.
they don't, sometimes you got to prove it to them that you are going to do a thing, because there are a lot of people who try many different things and they're watching you try everything, and they're
Yep.
just like, are you going to be consistent in something? You know,
Yep.
but everything you try, you want their support, but you can't even be
Exactly.
consistent in doing this for like 2 seconds. Like sometimes you
Exactly.
have to show them first and then they'll jump in.
Exactly. My biggest flex was when and, and I was so thankful that he received it. But my biggest flex was when I went to Dubai last year, and I just went to visit. I was just visiting my son and his wife, and I said, you know what? Let me just browse around. Let me look at some properties or whatever. Girl, I bought a property that day. I didn't need none of his money. I didn't need his money. I didn't need none of that. I put it on a
Right.
credit card. I put the down payment on a credit card.
Wow.
And but it was that sort of thing, that of me purchasing that for our future, for our enjoyment one day. And
Yeah.
so I think now it's almost one of those things where no, we don't have to compete anymore. We don't have to play these games anymore, because I know you have me. I
Yeah.
got him. I got
Yeah.
him. I don't have us. I don't have us
Yeah.
because I need him to have me.
Yeah.
'Cause I ain't got myself. Let's
Yeah.
be honest. Because I don't want to
Yeah.
have myself. Listen, I don't want to pay to get my own hair done. I don't want to pay to get my own
No.
nails done. I want to be like one of those girls that are single, where she get excited because her boyfriend bought her a new pair of shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
I want to stay in that. I want to stay in that. And
Hmm.
so yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that. I was just talking to my sister today, saying, we need to get our money right, because when we go to these places, we need to buy property here, we need to buy property there. Like it's definitely a game changer when you're able to do that. Like that is the biggest flex right there. So I admire you for that. Like good job, and being able to do it. Do you think it made it easier that you're able to do it because of the, like, you started with wealth? So do you think that
Mhm.
made it easier to do?
I think it made it harder. It made it
You think so?
harder.
Okay.
Mhm. I think people that grow up in privilege. This is just my opinion. Again, y'all can come for me in the comments. I'm letting you know this is my opinion. But a lot of people that had to work for something, that they had to struggle. They tend to be able to be better hustlers than those of us that were always given things. Things were
Okay.
always gifted to me. They were always given to me. I didn't know a strong work ethic. That had to be developed along the way. And so there's some people that they've been hustling all their life. They had to hustle just to be able to get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, just to be able to get a meal at school. I don't know that type of suffering. I don't
Wow.
know that type of struggle. And
Yeah.
so And so I believe that it's been harder for me to be successful because I had to let go all of my privilege. I had to let go all of my entitlement, all of my spoiledness. I had to overcome all of that so that I could be the person I am today.
Wow. Wow. I'm thinking about that because I was just talking about it on another podcast that, you know, as I had like a rough when it comes to finances, it's always been like horrible. But when I had my daughter, I was a single mother for the first 14 years of her life. And so we were going through a lot of things financially, but I never showed her that aspect. And so she thought that we had fun. So as she got older, like she would just do all these things the way that she moved. Like she didn't move like somebody who came from poverty, because I made it look real good. But we almost got evicted several times. Like the sheriff was always at my door 7 months in a row. So I think that's a little bit of a little bit about why my drive is so hard, because I'm like, we never need to get back to a space where that struggle is real again. You know what I mean? But she doesn't even know that we were broke. Like her
Wow.
friends called her the rich friend. Okay. But we
Wow.
were far from it. We were far from it. And she still has that mentality. Like we got money all day,
Mm,
every day. Like she still thinks like we have money. And I think that's a good perspective to have, right? But you got to be able to work for it and know that you need to go grind to get your own money, and
yeah.
that drive is not there. So if she had to go and start her own business or do these various things, it would be more difficult, because she did have that silver spoon in her mouth, thinking that we have it all, but we didn't.
It's so interesting because I was completely different. When we lost all of our money, I was like, this YN gonna see we gonna let them know we ain't got no money, okay? like literally, we broke, son. We broke. Like we what you were used to is no more. He even got to the point where he was like, "Where's your God? We keep going to church every single Sunday. Where's your God?" And so, I mean, it was a valid question, though.
Yeah.
For real. But it's like why we keep showing up for church and God ain't providing? And I'm like, son, God doesn't give us $200 every time we show up for church. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that's not how that works. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand. So to the woman who, who is in that space, like she has a good man, but he's not built for where she's going. Like, what would you say to her?
Hmm. Not built for where she's going. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to say it without because I did not come from a place of love. Um, so I don't really know how to say that to her. But I do know is if you love your man, then I think you should stick with your man,
Yeah.
obviously. But girl, you got to make some money so you can make sure you got a roof over your head. And you have to reconcile with the fact that you're going to make more money than him. And don't be convicted by me or anyone else that says your man has to take care of you. If you
Yeah.
find yourself, everybody's household is different. If you find yourself being the one that's the provider and this man takes care of you, he rubs your feet, he dicks you, he uh you know sex you good. That's what I should say. It almost came out the wrong way, but he sex you real good. Then girl, fight for your man.
Yeah.
Okay, but first
Yeah.
of all, you also got to fight for your money. You
Yes.
got to fight for your money. I know, a lot of times on Instagram, people will come for me because all I talk about is money. Well, what else we gonna talk about?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like what? Yes, there's God, okay? And I'm not saying that you become a worshiper of money, but having been a person that hasn't had any money and has also had God, I'm gonna tell you, it's a lot easier to do some things when you have money and God.
Yeah.
So why not shoot for having both? This isn't an
Absolutely.
either or, it's a both. And so yeah, you got to reconcile that I'm okay with being the
Yeah.
breadwinner in this family. And
Yeah.
one day, and here's the honest truth, I'm gonna have to reconcile with that one day too, because I'm on my husband's ass when it comes to income.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Give me a couple of more years, I probably am going to triple his income.
Yeah.
And I have to reconcile that I make more money than you. But I think that what my mindset is, and I'm a very simple person. I love to live simple. I'm not a person that needs a fancy car. Now I gotta dress nice. I gotta look good and I gotta dress nice. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm okay with living a very humble lifestyle, living in a very humble home, driving my paid off, my paid off car, which is anyway. I love my car. I love my car. I got into a car accident and they're thinking about
Oh,
totaling it out.
oh no.
But and that's gonna sadden me because I'm gonna have to get a new car. But I'm okay with where I am.
Yeah.
And so because of that, my money's still gonna be stacking in the bank, you know what I'm saying? And his lifestyle is still going to pay for the lifestyle that we have now. That's just how I have to look at it.
Yeah, 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 and I think that's so beautiful because you're in such a great space. And I think when you hear people say, "Well, you're talking about money all the time," it's usually coming from people who don't really have access to it, right? So they're not used to the conversation. Because when you have God and you have money, you can do absolutely a whole lot more, right? Like nobody wants to be struggling, not being able to do what they need to do. When they get sick, they can't even pay for it, and then you don't want to have conversations about money, you know. So like these are the conversations that people absolutely need to have, because that's where the mindset changes. Which is why I love, I'm gonna give a shout out to MMU right now, because having community and accountability where you're able to have these conversations without judgment,
Mhm.
because you're in groups where people are thinking the same. It might not always be like that in the household, but not everything you're going to get from your household, you can go outside and go into community so
Yeah,
that you can talk about the things all the time without feeling like I'm putting all that pressure or projecting or having these conversations like that. So
yeah,
that's what I think.
very
That's what.
true.
Yeah, yeah. So what does keeping your man look like today? Like what does that look like to you?
Keeping my man. Let's see. I've never really given that much thought. I think that the laws, if a man is smart, that will keep him. Because if he leaves me, wait, let me stop the laugh. Let me stop the laugh.
But that's a good answer though.
I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
I was talking to this woman, and she was telling me about her alimony, the way her alimony is set up. She is going to be paid for the rest of her life. Very, very good money. Very, very good money. When I say close to six figures, she'll be getting paid every
That's
single
good.
year, whether
Yeah.
she gets married or not, for the rest of her life. Now, bruh, what you want to do?
Right, right. Yeah.
You Because you're gonna have to pay me to leave you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
that
I
like
ain't just
listen,
gonna
that's
leave.
yeah.
You're gonna have to pay me to leave you. And it comes with an expensive price tag. So I'm sorry I don't have anything like really romantic or anything like that, but that's the reality.
It's truth. It's truth. It's truth, especially because y'all have worked, like you've been married 21 years, you know?
Mhm.
So y'all have both invested so much already. So to break that up, like, nah, like a smart financial decision is not.
Yeah.
We
We
gonna
got
work through these
married.
problems.
Exactly. We got married for financial smart financial decisions. We're gonna stay together for smart financial decisions.
Right, right. But the love is there. The love is
Oh,
there.
the love is there.
Yeah.
Oh, let me not, because somebody, let me
Yeah.
not confuse that. The love is
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah.
we also got
Good,
to be smart.
good. What do you think keeps you humble today?
I'm not. Um, what does humble mean? What does humble mean? Okay,
What
yeah,
does it mean to you?
define to me what humble is.
It's having a good heart, um, making sure that just because you are at a place of certain wealth, that, that doesn't override everything it is that, or the people who are around you, including your spouse?
Um, yeah, I am humble if you're gonna say
You
that.
are humble.
What keeps me humble is I think that I genuinely love people. I
Yeah.
genuinely love people. I feel like people that can't be humble, I don't think that they love people for real.
Mm,
I really don't. Like some people have said that I've been really hard on them, the way I talk to them and stuff like that. The only people that I'm hard on like that is people that I actually genuinely love. Everybody else, I don't care. I care less what you
mhm.
do.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't have an opinion about what you do.
Yeah.
Um, but I love people. I love their stories. I love seeing when they fail. I love seeing when they win. I,
Hmm.
I genuinely love it all.
Yeah. And your heart does show that. So I just want to
Mm,
say that, because every time I'm around you, I watch how you talk to people, how you coach people. You really could be out here coaching people and getting money for it because you're so good at it. But I'm glad you do what you do. That means I ain't got to pay for
right,
right now, at least either.
right.
you know but I really do like being around your energy. I like
Mm,
being around you because you like I think that I learned so much just by being in your presence, because you like the
mm,
thought process, the way that you think, like it helps. It's very helpful,
mm.
in my elevation. And so I love that. But we could be here all day. Is there anything that you felt like I would have asked that I didn't ask?
Hmm. No, you've been a great like host
Thank
and
you.
and interviewer. Like really, really great questions. Like made me like literally pause and think. Normally, I'm like on my toes, like being able to answer a question like that. But you've really made me think. And so I just have a message to your viewers
Yes.
that um those of you all that are single, I just say don't settle.
Yeah.
Don't settle. Um, while the statistics might say, there's a lot of statistics that say, statistically, there's less men that make real money than there are that make good money. Yeah, but those statistics don't mean anything to you. They
Yeah.
mean nothing to you. Don't buy into that.
Yeah.
And don't dumb yourself down to that, and just make a life plan. Be It's okay to be bougie. It's okay to have standards. It really is. It really is. Because I'm telling you, it's you being alone is going to be a lot better than you marrying some type of sucker
Yeah.
or some sort of man that is going to give you years of heartache. And now you got a baby that you got to tag along, and they got to look like you, got to look like him, and your regrets. So that's all I got to say about it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Auntie Shaky, where can my audience get in contact with you? Got that
You
part.
can go edit that out.
Give me your social media. What you do? What you
So
do?
people can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Auntie Shakey, AuntyShakey, and then on Facebook at Shakey Webster.
Love that. Love that. And before we go, real quick, to the woman who is looking to, build something, get started in something, what is it that you do that you can offer to them?
Oh, thank you for that. So I help people launch, grow, and scale a faceless insurance business. And so, let's just say you are a mother, or and want to be a stay-at-home mom and work from home, or you want to build a business where you don't have to, talk to your cousins, your mother, your auntie, and stuff like that, and convince them that they need to buy life insurance. But instead, you have a model where you can just set up and flow traffic to it, and you get paid passively 24 hours a day. So yeah, that's what I do.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So y'all make sure you hit up your girl, Auntie Shakey. She's gonna get you right. She's gonna get your money right. Be whole so that you're not having to make those decisions and choosing the wrong people because of your lifestyle, right? Like because of your history. Don't choose relationships out of trauma, so that you end up with that person that you are settling for, like yours is gonna come. It's gonna come. It's gonna come. Shakey is the prime example that if you are intentional, you can have what you want. You can have it all. Shakey, you're proving that you can absolutely have it all. You have your spouse, you have your children, you have wealth, you have a healthy mindset, you're a healthy person, you're humble at heart. There's so many different things. We could go on here all day, but I just want to thank you for your transparency. I want to thank you for sharing your story, on so many different levels, because I know there were some things that you said that you probably wasn't expecting to say. But I love that you are bringing your true self so that you could say it. And so I really value that. So I'm excited for this podcast. So if today's conversation has taught me anything, it's taught me this, that you can build your dream, right? But if you're not careful, you can accidentally tear it down, right? You can tear it down while you're doing it. The Bible says that the wise woman builds her house, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. And we don't want to be that foolish woman tearing it down. We want to use wisdom in our relationships. We want to use wisdom in our wealth. And so it's okay to want more. It's okay to elevate, but the elevation should never come at a cost of intimacy with your spouse, your friends, or even yourself. And so for the woman that's listening, if you feel alone in your grind, unsupported in your growth, or unsure if people you love can keep up, just pause before you cut them off. Communicate before you isolate, because some people were never meant to go full journey with you, but some, they are. They just need a little bit more time, a little more grace, and a whole lot of understanding. Thank you all for tuning in to the Sex for Saints podcast. If you have enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, bye.